Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Market Update Show, where I update you guys on QQQ, SPY, and the overall market sentiment and data, as well as news. And I'll be also looking at the big tech stocks and NVIDIA, Tesla, Apple, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft briefly as well. And I'll be giving you guys what I'm thinking would be the most likely scenario going forward, as well as support and resistance levels to potentially play off of. And probably looking at a couple of weekly charts where for long-term investors and where what's the most best way for you guys to trade your positions going forward. All right, let's start with the data. So today we got our rate pause, which was 90% priced in already yesterday. So that was no surprise. And I was listening to Powell speaking today, and what I got out of it was he wanted the pause, but and the dot plot was suggesting the terminal rate is going to be 5.6%, which is two more rate hikes from where we are at the moment. And it seems like that wasn't his idea because just based on the way he was talking about it and saying he dodged questions a little bit here and there. But so right now, market is pricing in a hold for the rest of the year. You can see 5.25 here into the hold for the rest of the year. And we'll see if we actually get two rate hikes later this year or not. But as of now, no signs of that pricing in yet at the moment. So that's what we're getting. And for economic data, you can see we got our PPI this morning, which is decent, and as well as the hold. So tomorrow, we have initial jobless claims left, as well as these data's left. And also, I want to talk about the sentiment. We're in extreme greed, so that's potentially got to be a little bit cautious here. Although, if you can just walk your stop losses up and keep riding the wave, I'll be talking about how to do that in a second once we get in the chart. And we'll get the sentiment data tomorrow. It has flipped quite a lot from last week, and so tomorrow we'll get our new data for the week, and I'll be talking about that. We'll see where it goes. My guess is probably in the low 40s and high 30s for the bullish side is my expectation. If this goes even higher this coming week, then next week we have to be super cautious. So we'll see. I'll update you guys tomorrow on that. And so I'm talking about the holdings in QQQ, right? Just from Microsoft and Apple and NVIDIA itself, that is already 30% of QQQ, right? So when we take a look at QQQ, Apple was green today, right? So Apple was up, Microsoft was up, even though Amazon was slightly red. That's 30% of QQQ already. That's already green. NVIDIA is up like 3% today, and it's still going after. Wait, NVIDIA's up 4.8% today, and it's still going a little bit after hours. So that's a total of 5%, right? So you can just see the three biggest weightings in QQQ today are all green. Hence, the market QQQ is green, and QQQ is a big weighting in SPY as well. So we have to take a look at all these underlying of the stocks when we are trying to understand the market as well. So I'll be going over QQQ first, then SPY, and the rest of the big tech stocks: Tesla, NVIDIA, Apple, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft. So if you are a bull right now holding in the market, I'm going to give you guys the weekly. So we go to the weekly chart. I believe this wedge, it's a little bit overdue. So what can you do while you are currently in a position right now? And you're wondering if you're supposed to take profits, or as an investor, you might think we're a little bit overextended and you want to take profits. And how would you do that? Okay. So we currently don't have a weekly consolidation at all yet. So you can see this big move up. This is a weekly consolidation, meaning the next week's candle closes below the prior week's low. So you can see this big move up. Now we have a weekly consolidation and a continuation of the weekly uptrend. This was also a weekly consolidation. If you zoom in here, you can see this candle closed below the prior week's candle. We have a weekly consolidation right here, and now we have another big move up. So the weekly consolidation is likely due for QQQ, but nobody knows where that top is going to be. So what you can do is you can set a stop loss, a trailing stop loss, where you set it right below the prior week's low. So right now you just walk every week. If it keeps on going up, just walk your stop loss up here. Next week, you walk it up here. This week, you walk it right there. So if we just say we get another leg up, you lock it over there. And for example, 1 week we break below that, you take your profits, right? If we get another 2 legs up and you end up taking profit here, still better than taking it down here, right? So just keep walking your stops up, walk it up, walk it up, walk it up, walk it up, and walk it up. For you guys that are thinking about taking profits and you don't know where to, figure out where to take that. And once we get a weekly consolidation, that pullback, the size of the pullback is going to determine our next move. So if we could just get a shallow pullback next week, right? Let's say we closed, so we close here this week, right? Just for example, and next week we go sideways. So it's a small candle. We just go sideways for the week, and then the following week we then pull back. We have our candle now below the prior week. If it's just a shallow pullback for 2 weeks, then we bounce off again, bulls buy the dip for the next move up. Then if the retracement is very shallow, the most likely scenario is we have another move up. If this retracement is large enough where the next move now could potentially set the lower high for the next move down. So we'll see once we get that retracement coming in, we will see have a better idea of where the market wants to continue this bull run, or we will have likely a bigger pullback. Then we have to zoom out into the monthly if we get that weekly downtrend. So right now you can see monthly potentially is also due for a consolidation. This is the one move up. Potentially we need a monthly consolidation as well. But as of now, no signs of that yet because we don't even have that on the smaller time frames. Even just on the hourly, we're still going straight up on the hourly. You see that we broke below this hourly 12 EMA, and then big wick under it during the FOMC meeting. And due to the dot plot being 5.6%, market did not think that was going to happen for the terminal rate, and hence the drop. But then we'll spot all the dip, and then you can see we're still trending upwards. For I've been talking about this for all my past videos, where the hourly trend change is the very first step if the bears want to even change anything. And even if we got a big drop, there is no trend change for the bears at the moment. So nothing happened, no follow through from the bears. Something I want to talk about is that the day after the FOMC meeting is usually the real move. So we'll have to see tomorrow if we get either a continuation of the bull move or the bearish move, as well as there was a lot of hedging into today's event. So the more hedging there was to today's event is making it harder to drop. So we'll see if also there's a qual witching on this Friday, meaning most options are expiring that date. So that's going to be interesting going into the end of the week. The more volume there is going to be more volatility there is. Obviously, sometimes it doesn't, but usually that's the case. So we have to be prepared for that into Friday. And all the hedging into this event is probably going to expire soon as well. So we'll see if the market does kind of flip after that. We'll also get that sentiment data tomorrow for more data to see what the market is going to do. So yeah, hourly trend is going to be our guide. Before that, zero worries from the bulls. As long as bears can't even confirm a hourly downtrend, you are solid. This is just like over here. Bears cannot even confirm hourly downtrend. Bulls held at lows, bounce back up. Same thing with this drop. Big drop. The next bounce should have been a chance for the bears to confirm that downtrend, and that did not happen. So still perfect trend for the bulls. So we don't want to play counter trend, especially on indices. And if you do play counter trend, we want to see a clear sign first before anything. We zoom out. Daily still healthy, just like nothing in the red flag. We didn't even test yesterday's low, and SPY is a little bit weaker, but we'll take a look at that. But still no signs of red flags at all. And yeah, just walk that stop loss up on your weekly chart. If you're wondering where you might end up taking profit, let's say we have another 2 legs up, and the third week we get that weekly consolidation, and you just get stopped out right there, right? You'll still be better getting stopped out there than selling today, technically, right? We don't know where that top is going to be. So, and all right, let's take a look at SPY. same thing. Weekly consolidation, you can just walk that stop up on your weekly chart. And so we zoom into the daily to see if there's any red flags. All right, so daily consolidation is on the way, meaning move up, move down, move up. So you can see spike did get below the yesterday's low. At the same time, you can argue it's not really a daily consolidation due to just us um, breaking that low and just V-shaped, and it's not. It's you can depending on the trader, but we could say it's daily consolidation. But yeah, so if it just continues, break today's high, then just a daily uptrend continuing. So no red flag for the bulls at the moment either, because we did not confirm that hourly downtrend. Although we did not break over the high, so there's still a chance. So the big move down, big bounce, and the most likely scenario, obviously, the next bounce is going to set the higher low here because we have such a big bounce. But if the bears do show up, break this low, then is an hourly downtrend confirmed. Then we'll start looking at the daily chart where that potential daily higher low is going to be setting. So before that, bulls are still very comfortable due to the size of this bounce. Next drop is going to set the higher low here. Most likely scenario, obviously, but if the bears do show up, then confirm this hourly downtrend, then we'll start to take a little bit of notice on the bears. But at the moment, zero signs of them as of yet. So we'll see if they do show up into tomorrow and the Fridays. And so yeah, continue to walk your stop losses up. If you're more of a short-term trader, just walk your stop loss up on the hourly chart then, or the daily. It's up to you. But if you're a longer-term investor, walk it up on your weekly chart. All right, let me see here. Let's go to Tesla first. Tesla is actually a little bit weaker today compared to QQQ. Is red, while QQQ is up 0.7%. Because 0.7. Yeah, so relative weakness for one day is okay, but if it continues relative weakness, then this is likely the top. And I think I pointed out this yesterday. Where was this orange line coinciding? Let's see here. It was coinciding with one of those value area highs, which was starting to test this structure up here. Lows of this structure and this structure will be coinciding with where we in this gap as well. Surprised we didn't let's see. The gap is at 223. Why is it not showing up on the daily? Let's see. 223. I think the chart might not be updated. Give me a second here. Because we did hit that high today. Okay. So we didn't fill that gap today. And we will see. So we're relatively weaker than QQ. But we did bounce off of prior resistance. You can see this was prior resistance right there on that on last Friday. We couldn't get over it. So once we're over it, now we came back to test it. We bounced off of that. So if QQQ continues, I'm going to say Tesla likely trading sideways to a slight dip where it chops around like that, sideways. That will be a good sign for the bulls because bulls need a little bit of the rest as well after such a significant move in such a short period of time. So if they can go sideways on the current highs range, then that's a good sign for the bulls for a next continuation. So we form a falling wedge here, chops around, boom, another break, right? So we'll see if that continues. As well as we got to monitor QQQ while we are in Tesla. Into the 15-minute time frame. We did have a 15-minute downtrend. On the hourly, it's a hourly downtrend with a zero follow through. So down. Actually, we didn't even break the pivot, so I would say this is all one move. Is we didn't make it higher, lower high here. So yeah, so this is all one move. So the next bounce, if it breaks this pivot, then it's an hourly downtrend. But, this is more like a 50% bounce, so it's 50-50 chance of us setting that higher low or the lower high. So we'll see tomorrow. If it continues being relative weaker than QQQ, then there's a chance we are going to break this into daily consolidation. All right, let's take a look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA yesterday was talking about we're likely testing all-time highs. That's the only resistance we have because there is no price action above us or beside us or anywhere around us. So now what are we looking at? So we just zoom into the 15 minutes and there is no resistance until price discovery where we actually go sideways for some time to know where's the next resistance. Right? There is no psychological level of resistance at the moment. It's not like we're hitting 450 or 500 or 400, right? So none of that. Maybe 420, but we're already over that. It was the resistance this morning at 420. And so like I've been saying, NVIDIA is like 6% of QQQ, and it's been up insane, hitting new all-time highs over and over. So that's helping QQQ a lot as well. Same thing as Apple, right? And Microsoft. The three of them together is 30% overweightings on QQQ already. And then you add Google and Microsoft, Google and Amazon in other recent moves, right? And hence you see this market just ripping. And Broadcom is like 2%, and the thing is up like same thing, like 50-60%. So what are we? Let's look at the 5-minute time frame. So yeah, just follow the trend. There's absolutely zero resistance on NVIDIA right now. Obviously, we're not gonna say just because it has no resistance above it, it's not gonna just shoot straight up to like 450 or 500. And next thing you know, right? So we just gotta continue to follow the trend. So you go to the hourly. If every time we dip and it forms a higher low, it's going to continue. So it means it doesn't break previous pivot. So you can see this low, which is the pivot of the move, is higher than this prior pivot. And so this pivot is also higher than prior pivot. That's an uptrend continuing. So as long as it keeps on continuing, it would just keep on continuing. Bulls are just buying every dip. And that's how an uptrend is continuing and forming. So we'll continue to watch, see how far it goes until we see some resistance in some levels. You just can't get over. Then we'll know that's a resistance level at that zone. Before that, we still need some price discovery up here. Take a look at Apple. Same thing, likely going to test all-time highs. There is no resistance up here either, other than this Friday sell the news on this goggle news. And 2-day EMA 12 continue to be my guide. Or if you're running that, zero signs of bears at the moment. Amazon, a little bit weaker today. Talking about this where yesterday we had a bull break with not a lot of follow through, and today we were red, but QQQ was up 0.7%. So it held because of QQQ. Let's say if QQQ was down 1% today, Amazon would have been down here, right? So it got held up by QQQ, and so Google is also the same thing, a lot weaker. So Google and Amazon is the weaker one today. We held support right there. If we had broken this pivot low, we would have had a daily downtrend. I've been talking about Google as the weakest for so far. Its bounce is very shallow. So potentially if we get a red day today, we may potentially retest this bottom again, and Google may form that daily downtrend. So if that happens, we'll see if the other techs actually follow the bearishness or try to hold Google up again. So Microsoft is the one that's holding the other two up. Same thing as Apple is holding them up. You can see Microsoft is green day. So we're testing its 52-week high as well. Same thing as Apple. So Apple and Microsoft testing its 52-week high. So we'll see if it gets over tomorrow. Very clear resistance right here. And yeah, these tech stocks are shaping up. Some are going slower, moving a little bit slower. Some are shaping up still quite strong. So it's we'll see which one joins which, right? Is Google going to join back to Team Bull again? And Amazon as well, or Microsoft's going to join Team Bear with Apple joining Team Bear, right? So that's this thing we got to see before anything happens. All right, that's all I got for you guys on today's episode, and feel free to subscribe if you guys made it this far, and I'll update you guys tomorrow. And be careful trading into next week. So make sure to walk up your stop losses, and have a great rest of your day.